You know, I was out of town and just made sure I got home in time and thought I have just got all this trouble to get here for a 15-minute meeting, but at least it's 15 minutes.
Meredith, did you just pass the executive session meeting minutes around last time, or what did you?
Yes.
Okay. That's what I would normally do, but then I thought, well, COVID was supposed to pass.
Let's see.
Oh, is that you? That's you.
Yeah, we kind of, I think last time we got them all looked at before the meeting even started and then I think last meeting I did have the piece of paper for everybody to sign, I think.
That's my bad. I wasn't thinking, wait, what piece of paper? About the executive
About
session,
the
but aren't you
executive-
supposed to sign? Oh, because we went into executive session, never mind.
No, what,
Yeah, because you're supposed
You
to sign
gotta-
it when you go, like when you come out or when you go into an executive session. I don't remember when we signed it.
well, it has to be after, because
Yeah, it's the after.
everyone has to sign saying yes. That's
Yeah,
what
we only do.
Right. you
Did
should
we do it last time?
I don't remember.
I have, that's something
Fine.
else we need to check with Linda and see if we're behind
Yeah,
on.
'cause when I was sure, I think we had one, maybe two when we were dealing with the school and the lawyers
That's right.
there were telling us this was.
Yeah, we had to sign it maybe when we came out of executive session, but it was, that same meeting.
Yeah.
Of course, I didn't sign it last time because I was
You were
only,
online.
virtually.
So your little plastic
The pen doesn't fog up,
It does.
but it's not bad.
It depends on how much hot air I'm blowing in my students. You know, they would say that sometimes.
that most of the time it falls
Well,
off.
it's just always trying to balance, where do I put the glasses and try to keep the glasses from falling. Okay, so.
Do you have an extra pen?
Mhm.
I feel so bad, I
Maybe.
didn't. Here, I usually have one. I'm just waiting on Dustin.
Is Dustin coming?
I haven't heard that he wasn't.
Okay.
Are you done with it? Executive?
Do you
want me to go
There's
in?
been some quarantining at the school.
Okay.
Do I now?
Quarantine, you said there's been some quarantining at the school, so I don't know if that affects him or not.
Well,
But Wendy said like the whole upper school is closed
Executive
until
session.
Sunday.
let's see.
But I don't know if that will affect him.
Well, we'll give, it's 6:32, we'll give Dustin, did anybody hear anything from Dustin?
No, that's what I was just saying. Wendy Seaman told me that the whole upper school is quarantined.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if that affects Dustin or not.
Okay, so they're quarantined as in they're sent home already, or?
No.
They're online school for a week and then it's Thanksgiving break.
They're not, they didn't send them home, I don't think.
They didn't send like international students or boarding kids home, but normal kids are, they're on whatever you call it, virtual school.
At home, they
Yeah.
sent them home.
Yeah.
Well,
So he may be.
I mean, it seemed like they were, having to do that with the students. And,
Will and Jonathan are both sick.
yes, I heard.
But we're fine.
But it's in town, it's here in town for sure.
Okay. I have seen it and approved, so who else needs to?
Joey's seen it. He's seen it.
You seen it? Joey, you're a month early with the Christmas sweater there, guy.
I think this year, anything goes.
Yeah.
Celebrate early, whatever.
Well, I saw friends of mine who had gone ahead and decorated for Christmas at the beginning of November, and I thought, oh my God. But it's like they just needed something to lift their spirits. I was like, oh God, I don't need that much lifting.
I'm looking for COVID ornaments to hang in the tree.
Oh my God.
I have seen
All
some,
this- Yeah,
I have seen some cute ones.
I mean, red and green, you can make that work.
Sure, it's festive.
Okay. Okay,
There it is, man.
There's your, I got your seat. Well, or if you want to sit there, grab your packet.
I like to sit in the circle.
Okay. Make sure you got it away.
He doesn't want to sit across from the owl, that's what's going on.
Here's the executive session.
It's always cool when you turn that thing on and it's shooting sound.
Does it?
No,
Yeah,
you just,
right.
you gotta vote on it.
Then, you know, anything to bring a little joy.
That's cute, yeah.
Okay. Is David on Zoom?
No, let me double check emails to make sure he hasn't.
I lied about having an extra pen. Can I have that?
I bet you
You
need a
need
pen
a
more than I
pen?
do.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I thought
That's
that I
okay.
had an extra, but I lied.
Okay, I have not received any email nor text message.
Okay, and I didn't hear anything back from them either. So we'll just, it's 6:35, I'm calling the meeting to order. Everyone is here in person, except for David. Approve agenda, there was two things I needed to add to the agenda. Under, and I made y'all copies of the new agenda, under approved minutes, we also have to approve the minutes from the executive session on October 20th. And then new business is, we need to discuss the bill that we got from, that this town got from the lawyer. So new business, professional services rendered, and then that's the 2 pages with your agenda. So do I hear a motion that the agenda be, that the revised agenda be approved as presented to y'all?
So moved.
Second, and all in favor?
Alright.
Okay, so, has everyone looked over the October 20th regular minutes? You, emailed those out. Does everyone had a chance to look?
And I copied and stapled them all and filled the past one out, so.
Oh, okay. All right, so we all have a copy of our records. Okay, so do I hear, are there any corrections to the minutes, Ann?
I thought I emailed you, Christie.
You might
You
have.
had Joey down there twice.
I tried so hard. Okay. You probably did email me and I failed to check it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So who did I leave out then?
Was Dustin,
I've left out Dustin.
Yeah, you don't have Dustin. Were you here? You were here.
Everybody was there.
Yeah.
Yep, I was here.
You didn't miss Dustin.
I know, I just.
Okay.
Okay, so are there any other corrections that need to be made? None? Okay, okay, so with the change of removing Joey twice and adding Dustin as who were present, do I hear a motion that that the minutes be approved as corrected? And do I hear a second?
second?
Keith, all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay. And then everyone's had a chance to look at the executive minutes, executive session minutes. Are there any corrections to those? Not that we could really talk about the corrections though, could we?
Depends on what it was.
Oh.
But I did not want to go into executive session.
No, we are not going to.
I
So
move the executive session minutes.
the accepted is,
Accepted.
okay, second from Dustin, all in favor? Okay, approved. Financial report, any news, Joey?
The balance is the same, I mean,
And you got the statements? Okay,
I think this one is for, let me see the date on it here.
because I think last month we didn't have a statement, so maybe we've got.
I mean, the balance is the same, but
Yeah.
let me see that it's for 10/30.
Okay, all right, so. I don't really need to make any motions there, right? It's no formal report here, right? Old business, just wanted to report back to you and everybody and make sure it got into our minutes about the city council meeting. Oh, what day? The November city council meeting, whatever day that was, November 6th, I believe. Where we presented our recommendation. As expected, the city council accepted and agreed with our recommendation. And a little bit of discussion about the time frame of it. Larry thought maybe it should be run more than once. Joey and I both felt that no, once was sufficient, especially since it's very expensive to run the lengthy ad about it. Originally, it was going to go into last week's paper, and then it would be 3 weeks before the sealed bids were opened at the December 3rd city council meeting. That was within that framework of time, minimum 15 days, maximum 60. You know, the city council agreed that, you know, we just needed to go ahead and move on this. Well, unfortunately, there's a little glitch in the system at the paper. Their server was down, so the ad did not get to the newspaper in time. It didn't run this past on Thursday. So it will run this Thursday. And in order to keep that same time frame, they have moved the city council meeting from December 3rd to December 10th. So the sealed bids will be opened at that meeting. I contacted both Bill and Gerald after the same night of the city council meeting and told them. And then once I got word about the little internet snafu, server snafu, I contacted both of them and told them what the new schedule was. And neither one of them seemed fazed or upset by it or anything.
Okay, so
So,
the town council meeting regular December has been moved by 1 week.
do what now?
The town council regular meeting has been moved by 1 week.
Yes, it's gonna be December 10th until, and December 10th instead of December 3rd. Okay, new business, I got a call from Mayor early today saying that they had received a bill from, Smith, Welch, Webb and White. And y'all got a copy of that. It really breaks down everything that he's billing for and, a lot of it, well, I mean, pretty much all of this is DDA business. And the joint representation letter and all that, and just us getting up to speed with everything. So Mike said he does not expect us to pay, this whole bill, but wanted us to talk about it and see how much of this we felt should come out of the DDA budget. And how much, the city, he does not want us to pay for all of it because, he wants us to keep as much money in our till as possible going into whatever our next project will be. Well, we know what it's gonna be. We don't know how it's gonna look. So, he wants us to have funds for that. So what are y'all thoughts on that? I mean, in a way, it's like, okay, that money that we have, it came from the city council, so what's the big deal about us paying some of this? I kind of tried to go through it and see, well, which were things that were specifically just DDA. You know, I would say all of the joint representation stuff is part of the city, but he didn't charge us for any of that. You know, and then, there's quite a few things there was no charge. So anyway, what are y'all's thoughts on that?
Well, certainly anywhere it's mentioned their discussions with us, I mean, duh, that is for sure us. I would say that I was looking through and looking for my name and, on the place that I was mentioned on October, the 7th, I provided them information, so maybe I should charge back, for the information I sent them, but, that's fine.
You know, just take note that this goes back to July,
Right.
July
What's,
21st.
What's MP stand for?
MP?
I think it's the initials of,
The individual that is being billed for, in this case,
Oh, Michelle.
Yeah.
Michelle Foreman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean, all of it sounds like it really is geared towards us as an entity,
Right.
getting clarification about what our purpose and what we can and can't do. So in that regard, it seems like to me it would be up to the territorial boss to pay it.
can I make sometimes I'm not sure about the professional boundaries. Before we left, Mike was explaining to me before I came down here that when they were doing the hearing earlier with the Urbans, the attorney said something about who pays for the attorney fees is the person who has control over the document being written up. So he was saying, his understanding is he doesn't care if we pay none of this, like the town doesn't care if they pay it all. But if we pay a portion and the town pays a portion, then we both have input on the documents being drawn up, was his understanding from previous hearings he's done. So that's why he was saying, do you guys want to pay a portion of this? But if we come back and say, no, we don't pay any of it out of the town coffers anyway.
Yeah.
But they didn't charge us for the joint.
Huh?
They didn't charge us for representation, which would be the documents.
No, I think he's talking about the, well, maybe I misunderstood. I was thinking he was talking about upcoming documents.
In other
This-
words,
this all- I haven't
documents
looked at this
related
very
to
well
the
yet.
sale of the building.
Well, we wouldn't have any, we wouldn't.
So I don't know
That
that we
wouldn't
care.
be-
He
that
was
wouldn't
just
be us.
explaining the reason for
Possible
the question, but it all comes out of the town money. It's all town money anyway.
Well, certainly, as I said, things that have our names attached to it where we were interacting, that's legit for us. Once the, there's some of it like this, the 10/7, where it was Warren in one thing for 0.6 hours. Part of it is talking to Mike early, and part of it's talking to Mary Beth. And the call to me, he was asking for information, and I dug it up and emailed it to him. So,
Oh, so that's what you were talking about.
yeah, so I mean, that was not something we initiated, but as I remember, I'm trying to remember if there's anything else covered there. I would almost say anything that is not if it's got our name on it and exclusively our name on it, then we should pay it.
That's almost everything.
Well, hey, it is what it is, but you also look how much, but you look at some things, prepare joint representation letters, our name is not on that. Prepare a letter of joint representation, our name is not on that.
But it's no
But
charge.
those are all the things that there's no
Just
charge.
saying. No chop, it has no chop, okay.
Oh, did it not for that?
Maybe we could negotiate which things are no charge and which things are paid.
Right. Well, I feel like when it comes down to, paying for the ad being run, I don't feel like that's a DDA expense.
Right.
That's, to me, in my mind, that'd be clearly a city expense because they own the building. But none of this bill is dealing with that. This is all dealing with us trying to figure out what our role is and what the legalities are and. So, I mean, it seems like in terms of what all these hours are for, it really seems like the hours that we're being charged for is DDA business, but the town doesn't expect us to pay the whole thing. So if they don't expect us to pay the whole thing,
You wanna go half?
I think that would be reasonable.
Okay.
Anyone opposed to that?
I move that we cover half of the expenses delineated here. Open for discussion.
I mean, if we try to go line by line, like you said, most of it is our stuff, so saying we'll go half seems more reasonable than trying to go line by line and figure out what's ours.
Because, like we said, if we do go line by line, it's all ours.
Well, the thing is, how do you decide what there's no charge for?
How does Warren decide what there's no charge for?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, when he sends an email, and he sends it to him, what's it regarding is how
But
he
you-
decides. The recipient and the subject matter is, determines who he charges it to.
It's
Some
almost
of the
like
no
if he's
charge-
receiving an email from me, there's no charge. Is that?
It's looking like some of the no charge is internal working, within their office, at least a decent number of them are.
Right, that's what it is.
I mean, I don't have any qualms that, this is all fine.
So there is a motion on the floor to pay half of this. Do I hear a second to that motion?
I'll second.
You second it? Any further discussion on it before we vote? And no further discussion, well, all in favor of? Okay, is that unanimous?
Mhm.
Okay. All right.
Reluctantly.
What's that?
I said reluctantly on my part. Because I feel like a lot of these back and forth is defining what our purpose is. And we should have done that like 2 years ago, and the city would have covered that. So now we're having to redo all this stuff, and we're being charged for it.
We'll know next time.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're coming back with saying we're willing to pay half of it. I mean, they might
Yeah.
say, oh, no, don't, no, that's too much.
But I mean, there's no real justification for paying half either.
It's really kind of arbitrary.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, got it.
So just next is just chairperson comments. I just, want to congratulate ourselves again for wading through the waters of this whole Tallulah Center for the last 2 years, all the ups and downs and the clarification that was needed, and the point that we got to was pretty much back where the town had all started from.
We made the journey.
We made the journey. We learned a lot. We did. I mean, I feel like we did a really good job in looking at this from so many different angles and, doing our research, Keith, that you
Well,
led us in.
due diligence and maybe some undue diligence, but whatever.
I feel like we really took it seriously and did what we were charged to do. And then once it became clear where we legally stood with it all, I think we made, a good decision. And I'm cautiously, optimistically, hopefully look forward to the December 10th meeting and what that's going to be like and how that half goes. And, I guess we'll be thinking about, we need to be thinking about what it is we're going to do next. And it seems like, in my mind, it would be the Rock House. We need to look into that and start taking on that project. And if anyone thinks differently, I'm open for discussion.
I think, looking at that, we need to determine, does the town have things it actively wants to do with the Rock House? I've heard various stories. And then I think we need to get crystal clear clarification from DNR about what we can and cannot do.
That would be the,
And
yes.
historic preservation, I mean, we need to get that tied down. Good luck with that. I tried.
Would that not be in the documents?
Well, I'm sorry?
Would that not be in the documents that we signed?
There are some things in the documents that basically say it cannot be a profit-making,
Okay.
I've forgotten the exact wording. So there's that. But the question is, if we were to get a museum that sold books to help pay, and it was, when I asked that in front of staff, it was an ambiguous answer. Oh, I don't know about that. And then, you can't do anything physically to it without checking with historic preservation. Well, what's historic about it? What are we preserving? Well, we don't know. And so I don't know how much of that was just pro forma. They always say that in these situations without anything detailed.
Probably
just-
should
I-
start by looking at the documents.
Yeah, well, and again, it's interpretation of the documents,
Right.
and there was some sense that, well, that's what the document says, but if we've got a strong case, maybe there's a way of working around it. Well, yeah, but let's tie that down before we throw a lot of time at it.
Oh, absolutely. And, I would say even before that, just touch base with city council, maybe at the December meeting. Is this what you want us to do? What, or this is what we're thinking should be our next direction to head. Do y'all agree with that? Or do you have something else in mind and you don't want us to be involved in this?
Yeah, Joey, do you have any sense with the organization that we had? Or do you have any sense on whether or not they might be interested or not interested at this point?
No, they don't have funds for doing anything.
So right now, there would, it's not likely that they would have any interest.
They have, they're struggling. None of their fundraising has been able to take place this year. It's-
I was gonna say, is that a COVID, primarily COVID?
A lot of it is. The president was fired.
I'm just not getting out enough. I can't keep track of this.
The president of Foxfire?
Mhm.
Now, who was that? It's not the.
TJ Smith,
Is he like?
The young guy?
Define Young.
He's
my age.
He's the son of a friend of mine, so to me, that's young.
He's my age-ish.
What's his name, Joey?
TJ Smith, Dr. TJ Smith.
He's local?
No, not really. I think he might have been from Habersham County
Oh, okay.
or something like that.
Maybe
He
that's-
taught at Young Harris, I
Okay,
believe.
that's not, I don't think that's what I'm thinking The young guy that's like the director, is that different than the president?
The head, he was the head, he reported to the executive board.
Oh,
So at any rate, there's not a short-term play there, that, you know, if we.
There's
If we-
nothing there right now. They're struggling to
just maintain.
make it into next year.
Also, depending upon who winds up with the Tallulah Center may affect what might be done there. There may be some differences there.
Mhm. Yeah, true.
So some of those we might think about a little deeper once we know what happens with Tallulah Center.
True, good point.
And it seems like our next steps will just be finding out this base information and waiting to see, you know, getting all our ducks in a row.
Mhm.
Well, the other thing is we've talked about trying to set up revolving loan fund and that sort of thing longer term, and we put that off until we wrestle this fair to the ground. You know, there may be something there that we need to do, or the town wants us to do.
Yeah.
Well, what would be our collateral?
Well,
We don't have anything.
well, some of the grants you can get is you can get grant money to come into a revolving loan fund. So that it's grant money.
Right, but haven't we exhausted the grants? I mean, it
Not-
seems like we have beat that dead horse again.
We beat that dead horse to pay for a building. But-
They're different.
There are other funds for other purposes that, you know, we can go back and look at that. The short-term or the revolving loan fund, I don't see as being a dead possibility. You know, it may not be live, but it's something that if we chose to, we could go back and revisit those sources.
Because that would be a whole different funding grant thing from what it was that we were trying to do.
Right. When you're trying to get
Grants.
money to fix a building, that's a different thing than the short-term revolving loan fund. I don't know that I don't know if it would fit with us, but it might be worth looking at in greater detail.
Well, it could be a project that we could look into.
Yeah.
Should we find ourselves with nothing to do. All right, well, that's all I really wanted to say.
Is our next meeting the 15th?
Of December. Yeah, is that, I don't have a calendar in front of me, that's the third Tuesday? Yeah, okay.
Calendar up on the screen.
All will be,
Whoops,
That's
July is,
I'll be a volunteer.
Well, yeah, because the second Thursday, December 10th for the city council, so then that next Tuesday would be our meeting. Yeah,
Okay. I'll be gone 13th through 19th for military. So
okay.
I'll let you know.
well, I will be available. I mean, I'm trying to think, will we have quorum? If you're available, if I'm available.
Yeah. I mean, we had to have 4, right?
We got 7, have to have 4.
So as
I
long as-
have something.
Oh,
I thought I sent him, y'all must not be getting my email.
No, I got your email.
Oh, about the insurance?
Yeah, the insurance
Okay.
cost is going up.
We have the quote for the renewal. It's a little bit more than last year, about, I think it was less than 2% higher. $2,410. Same coverage. I asked her about the increase and she said it was mandatory. And I said, mandatory by whom? And she said the state of Georgia. And I'm like, I couldn't argue with her because I know nothing about it.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was 2,363 last year, so it's 2,410. So if we choose, and I think we will, because she research, I mean, she sends it out and does, you know, all that, so that we don't have to go to individual.
well, that's nice to have
companies. So, I
somebody,
mean, you know,
yeah.
and I did decide the reason insurance premiums, one of the reasons they're so high, this involves 5 entities.
What do you mean?
We have Richardson Insurance, who I go to ask, you know, for insurance.
Mhm.
The broker, which is Southern insurance underwriters. There's Core Risk Solutions, who does the presentation. There's National Fire Underwriting or something that does the underwriting. And then there's AIG, which is a financial arm which
Mhm.
backs it up. I'm like, well, no wonder.
Well, let's just figure out which one to write the check to
Yeah,
this
she
year.
told me.
'Cause that-
Yeah, Southern Insurance Underwriters.
Yeah, they should make that clearer when
Yeah.
it comes to check writing.
Wow, so that's why, because there's so many fingers in the pie.
Wow. It was, I mean,
Oh, boy.
anyway,
So now, is that something that we need to vote on?
I would assume it expires, our insurance expires December 30th. So it will have to be paid before then.
Okay,
So, I mean,
I think we should go ahead.
Yeah.
So do I hear a motion that,
Quick point of order, since that was not on the agenda, can we do that now? Should we, if December meeting would be soon enough, we could write the check right now?
sure, I think so. What, December
Okay.
15th?
I don't know if that's
I
an
don't
issue,
know.
Yeah,
was not on the agenda.
If we write it, like the day after the meeting, yes, and mail
well,
Yeah.
if you bring the checkbook, then we could
Yeah.
just say that night.
String
I
over
don't
the
know
floor.
if we can or can't, it's just
Okay,
it
got
wasn't
it.
on the
it. That'll
agenda.
work.
And, it's a sub on the agenda that we approved, an hour ago. So,
I don't know, that's a,
yeah, that's a
I
Robert's
don't
rule that I don't
right,
have.
that I don't
have
know.
on
So, I
memory.
mean,
but that makes sense though, that can you vote on something that wasn't on the agenda?
I would say if we can do it next month and write
I
the
said
check,
next month's fine.
that-
But to
that's
answer that,
better form.
I would assume there are always things that come up that are not on the agenda that are voted on, so I mean, I don't know how that.
Yeah, I'm
works.
not, I'm
Well,
not.
I'm
Anyway,
trying
next
to-
month's fine.
I'm trying to think back to city council meetings. And I don't recall that ever.
Usually you
being
would,
brought
you would
up.
have added that to the agenda at the beginning of the meeting, and we would have approved that agenda item. Um,
Anyway, that's next month's fine.
Okay, all right. Well,
We put it on the agenda.
probably remember to put it on the agenda. Maybe I'll go home tonight and make up next month's agendas and put that on there, so be sure it's in there. Does anybody else have anything that needs to be brought up? Open floor for discussion? No? Okay. Do I hear a motion that we adjourn? All right. Second, Keith? And it is 7:07.
All right, record time.
Very, and the city council meeting last month, or this month, was record time too. I think, what time were we on in it, Joey? It was,
It's the
6:30,
10:40.
7:30.
Yeah.
Or something.
yeah, that was really